By the end of the night, Lina would realize Aya'an's warning was never meant to frighten her. It was meant to prepare her for what was already coming. Welcome back to Silk and Steel Stories, What We Were Told to Be. Chapter 3. The wedding ended beautifully. That was the strange part. Nothing went wrong. No arguments, no disaster, no visible sign that anything dangerous had been moving quietly beneath the celebration all night. Rumi cried during the rukhsati, the final wedding farewell, where a bride says goodbye to her family before leaving with her husband. Half the women around her cried with her. Older aunties repeated soft prayers through tears, while younger girls whispered excitedly about dresses, jewelry, and future weddings of their own. Children had fallen asleep hours ago against embroidered cushions, while music continued drifting gently through the estate halls. Everything looked peaceful. Lina stood beside Rumi one last time before she left with her husband's family. Rumi's makeup had already started smudging slightly from crying, though she still looked beautiful beneath layers of ivory embroidery and delicate jewelry. "You better answer my calls after this," Lina told her softly, trying to lighten the emotion pressing heavily through the room. Rumi laughed weakly through tears. "You say that like I'm moving countries." "You're married now," Lina replied. "That's basically the same thing." That earned another emotional laugh before Rumi suddenly hugged her tightly again. And strangely, for a brief moment, Lina imagined her own wedding day. The final goodbye to her family. Leaving home. Watching her brothers stand quietly beside their father with forced composure, pretending the moment was not affecting them at all. Her mother fixing her scarf one last time before she walked away into another life. And Lina knew brides were not truly disappearing from their families forever. They would visit again, call constantly, see everyone during gatherings and holidays. But still, rukhsati always carried a strange sadness, like stepping away from one life and entering another alone for the first time. The thought felt distant, unreal. Yet lately, everyone spoke about marriage around her constantly, as though adulthood had quietly arrived without asking permission first. Everything looked peaceful, but Lina could not stop thinking about Ayaan, or the warning he left behind. "You should be more cautious." The words stayed with her long after he disappeared back into the crowd. And honestly, she was irritated at herself for even caring, because another possibility existed, one she almost preferred. Maybe he came back because she was getting married. Maybe seeing her move on affected him more than he expected. Maybe the warnings were simply an excuse to force himself back into her life again, after disappearing for 3 years. The thought settled heavily in her chest as she stood near the estate entrance, while guests slowly prepared to leave. 3 years of silence. Then suddenly mysterious warnings? Convenient. Lina folded her arms lightly against the cold night air. No. She refused to become foolish over half-finished conversations and sad eyes. Ayaan had made his choice years ago. Whatever happened afterward no longer belonged to her. At least that was what she kept trying to convince herself. The estate courtyard remained crowded with departing guests, while luxury vehicles lined the curved driveway outside. Her brothers were still near the entrance, speaking with family friends and business associates her father had known for years. The drive home would take hours tonight. Normally, Lina would have preferred sitting with her brothers during such a long drive back to Islamabad. But the family had decided earlier in the week to make the trip separately during the school holidays for a change of scenery after the wedding events. The mountain roads near the wedding venue were famous for late-night winter drives, especially during breaks when families traveled outside the city for weddings and gatherings. Several vehicles had already been arranged only for Mirzai family members. That was why Lina felt no concern when she walked toward the black SUV waiting farther down the driveway. She was exhausted, emotionally, mentally, socially. And somewhere between wedding conversations and emotional farewells, reality had started pressing against her again. Year 12 would begin soon. Only 8 months remained until she turned 18. Lately, older women observed her differently during gatherings, not unkindly, carefully, quietly checking things girls her age suddenly became measured by: cooking, maturity, patience, social understanding, whether she carried herself like someone prepared for marriage and responsibility, as though childhood had quietly ended without asking permission first. Lina. She looked up immediately. Her older brother Hamza stood near one of the front vehicles while speaking briefly to another driver nearby. "We're leaving first," he told her calmly. "Traffic will become worse if we wait longer." She nodded. "That's fine. You'll go with Samina behind us." Samina had worked with the family for years as both driver and security whenever Lina traveled separately from the men. Experienced, trained, completely trusted. Her brothers tried to protect her carefully without making her feel trapped beneath constant supervision. One bodyguard was enough for Lina. Too many people around her always made her feel suffocated. Again, nothing unusual. Everything had already been checked earlier. Routes, drivers, timing. The Mirzais never moved carelessly. Still, as Lina approached the vehicle several minutes later, unease brushed lightly against her chest again. Maybe because of exhaustion. Or maybe because Ayaan's voice still lingered too close inside her thoughts. The rear passenger door opened. Lina entered quietly, adjusting her scarf properly around her hair, before leaning back against the seat with a tired exhale. The inside smelled faintly of oud and clean leather. Warm, familiar enough not to question. The driver remained silent, and Lina was already used to Samina wearing masks or sunglasses during long drives and crowded events. That was normal too. Samina usually spoke very little while driving. Outside, the wedding estate slowly disappeared behind them, while lantern lights faded into darkness along the mountain roads, and despite herself, Lina thought about Ayaan again. Not the warning this time, him. The way he looked at her like 3 years had not erased anything. That unsettled her more than she wanted to admit, because she had never truly allowed herself to fall for anyone before him. Lina always expected an arranged marriage. She accepted that future comfortably. It was normal, familiar, safe. Then Ayaan appeared during those months at the language center. Careful, respectful, quietly persistent. She had only been 14 when they first met, and he had been 18, still young himself, but old enough to carry a confidence she noticed immediately. And somehow he became the first man brave enough to speak honestly about wanting her. Not carelessly, not disrespectfully, properly. And slowly, without meaning to, Lina had started expecting something she never allowed herself to expect before. That someone might actually choose her before her family chose for her. And maybe that was why his disappearance hurt more than she liked admitting even to herself. Not because she loved him deeply, but because he left behind disappointment where expectation once existed. Lina closed her eyes briefly. Enough. She was tired. A bottle of water rested beside her seat, probably placed there earlier for the drive. Without thinking much about it, she opened it and drank slowly. Cool. Refreshing. The car moved smoothly through the dark mountain roads for several minutes afterward. Then something felt wrong. Not pain, not dizziness at first, just heaviness. Lina frowned faintly, blinking harder as the lights outside the windows blurred strangely before sharpening again. Her body suddenly felt too slow, too warm. Her breathing changed immediately. No. She straightened quickly, lifting her eyes toward the front mirror automatically, and froze. The hair was wrong, longer, darker, the shoulders broader than Samina's. Cold fear shot through her instantly. Her pulse slammed violently against her ribs as adrenaline fought against the growing heaviness inside her body. Lina grabbed the seat harder, trying to focus properly through the blur overtaking her vision. "Stop the car." Her voice sounded weak, wrong. The driver did not answer. The road lights outside stretched unnaturally now. The water. Realization crashed into her hard enough to make her stomach twist painfully. Drugged. Fear exploded fully through her chest. "No," she whispered breathlessly, forcing herself upright again. Her fingers reached desperately for the door handle, but her grip barely worked properly anymore. Her limbs felt disconnected from her body. Slow. Heavy. "Stop the car!" The words slurred this time, almost sounding like she was whispering them to herself. Still no answer. Panic turned sharp enough to make breathing difficult. Her brothers. If they noticed she was missing. But another terrifying thought hit immediately afterward. What if they had not noticed yet? The last thing Lina remembered clearly was trying to force the door open while the narrow mountain road curved dangerously beside dark cliffs below. Then darkness swallowed everything. Consciousness returned slowly, soft fabric beneath her hands, warmth, silence. Lina's eyes opened weakly before shutting again against dim amber lighting burning painfully through her head. Her body felt heavy, disoriented, wrong. Fear returned instantly. She forced herself upright too fast and nearly fell sideways off the large, unfamiliar bed beneath her. A thick, cream bedsheet slipped partially from her shoulders as dizziness crashed through her again. The room slowly came into focus. Large, elegant, unknown. Soft golden lamps glowed against dark walls, while heavy curtains completely covered tall windows. A fireplace burned quietly along one side of the room, casting warm shadows across polished wooden flooring. Expensive furniture stood arranged neatly with terrifying calmness, as though nothing violent had happened at all. Near the far wall stood another closed door she had not noticed immediately. Probably a bathroom. Lina's breathing became uneven immediately. No. No. Her hands flew instantly toward her scarf. Still there. Loose slightly near one side. Then, immediately, her hands checked the rest of her clothing too. Sleeves, dress, everything. Still on. Her jewelry was gone. Every bracelet, every ring. Even the delicate earrings Rumi helped her put on earlier. Relief hit so hard it almost hurt, but fear remained, because that did not mean she was safe. "Who's there?" she shouted immediately, stumbling off the bed. Even while saying it, she knew it was a useless question. Panic had already destroyed clear thinking. Her bare feet hit cold flooring sharply. "Hello?" No answer. Lina rushed toward the nearest door and pulled the handle hard. Locked. Her heartbeat pounded violently now. "Help!" She hit the door again harder. "Help!" Nothing. Panic closed around her throat fast enough to make breathing difficult. Tears burned behind her eyes as she backed away from the locked door while staring around the unfamiliar room. All her life, Lina heard stories whispered carefully between adults, family enemies, kidnappings, threats. What happened when the wrong people got hold of someone important? The Mirzais protected their women carefully for a reason, because enemies did not always attack through guns or business. Sometimes they attacked through daughters, sisters, wives. The thoughts crashed through her mind violently enough to make her stomach twist. What if someone tried to destroy her dignity? What if they ruined her family through her? What if nobody found her in time? For one horrifying second, a desperate thought crossed her mind so suddenly, it made her feel sick. If there was no way out if someone tried to harm her, would she have to kill herself before they could? No. Lina pressed both shaking hands against her mouth immediately as panic overwhelmed her breathing. No, she could not think like that, could not break down. But fear had already wrapped itself tightly around her chest now. And somewhere beneath the panic another realization slowly formed. This was planned carefully, which meant whoever took her knew exactly who she was.